What's up, guys? This is Webby back again for your 1998 Survivor Series review. This pay-per-view was a different style of Survivor Series. It broke the mold of the usual Survivor Series that we usually get. You know, back in the 90s, we usually got the traditional 5-on-5 or the 4-on-4 Survivor Series matchups all the way through the event. This time, we got a huge tournament to decide who the new WWE champion will be. We got tag team championship matchup. We got a women's championship. Huge event for us wrestling fans, and we got an epic double turn that is still talked about to this day and is still one of the biggest turns in the WWE history. You know, it really makes us wonder why the WWE can't tell storytelling like this in these days. It really does. But the 1998 Survivor Series is one to remember, storytelling wise. How the pay-per-view came off wrestling wise is a different story, but how we got to the ending of it, absolutely epic. First off, the biggest thing to remember about this event is that it was to decide who the next cornerstone for Mr. McMahon's corporation will be, and to make sure that Stone Cold Steve Austin did not capture the WWE Championship. Those two things is the main points of this event. First matchup, Mankind, who Mr. McMahon was kind of toying with, saying that he, giving him an easy run in his first matchup, giving him Dwayne Gill, this nobody jobber, built up Dwayne Gill a little bit for what he did in WWE and WCW, but really he wasn't anybody all that much. Came in, and really the match was nothing. A double arm DDT, and Mankind picked up the victory. So Mr. McMahon was really building him up, Mankind, like he's going to be the next corporation to carry the WWE Championship. Jeff Jarrett versus Al Snow. Now, with this being said, Mankind looking like he's going to be the next corporation heel, even though people are cheering him, Mr. McMahon behind him, there's no question Al Snow is going to win this contest. And besides, friend versus friend makes for an intriguing contest for us wrestling fans. Much more intriguing than Mankind versus Jeff Jarrett and Al Snow versus Mankind. They have good chemistry. They've shown that in the past. So Al Snow, of course, is going to go over here. Problem that I have had throughout this entire pay-per-view, though, is once again we had some type of interruption, some type of outside interference, or some type of interference in the match. Al Snow had to use his head, the little mannequin head, to pick up the victory. Deborah threw the head inside the ring to Jeff Jarrett. It got countered because of some shenanigans with Jeff Jarrett's guitar. Next thing you know, Jeff Jarrett gets hit with the mannequin head, and 1, 2, 3, Al Snow wins. More shenanigans. Al Snow's victorious. Big Boss Man versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. This contest. This is one of these things I don't like to run down the Survivor Series because of the storytelling that they did. And it was good storytelling building up to who's going to be the next, big corporation guy, and really just getting Stone Cold out of the WWE picture for a while. But this is another one of these matches like what they did at the King of the Ring tournament each and every year. They always have that bye matchup. Well, the Big Boss Man brutally attacks Stone Cold Steve Austin viciously enough that he gets disqualified in this contest, and Stone Cold gets a bye. He ends up getting a bye because of the following match. And then they play up that he's so hurt that he might not even make it to the next round. Big Boss Man gets disqualified, and then X-Pac and Steven Regal get counted out on the outside after a very, very good, hardcore, classic contest X-Pac and Steven Regal produced. So, how very, very difficult for me to get behind that as far as match quality is concerned, but storytelling, very good. Ken Shamrock versus Goldust. This contest, what can you say about the world's most dangerous man? It's always, get out of my way! Epic, awesome, crazy. And Goldust, it's always just weird. I mean, two different styles, and it made for a good matchup. It did, for what they could produce, but in the end, Ken Shamrock gets the victory with an ankle lock. The Rock going in there, and Triple H was hurt, so he wasn't going to be his opponent. So Mr. McMahon sent his goons out there, Pat Patterson and Briscoe, and next thing we know, the Big Boss Man's back. And what's the Big Boss Man do? Lays down in 4 seconds to The Rock. This tells me that they are going to lay down and help The Rock get through the competition. Fans are eating it up. Fans are thinking, wow, Rock is getting over here. But can't you see? Mr. McMahon is helping Mankind and The Rock at the same time. Which one do you honestly think Mr. McMahon is going to choose here? Now that we're actually being able to see which one, it only makes sense. Of course The Rock would be the one that Mr. McMahon would choose. No offense to Mankind, The Undertaker versus Kane. Another match that, it really shows this contest. Was it as good as the WrestleMania 14 match? No, not at all. But it really shows, number one, how much upper hand The Undertaker had for the majority of their rivalries throughout their entire career. And it really shows what kind of epic storytelling and what kind of stuff they can produce for us wrestling fans. Just all the time. Every time they were in Squared Circle, their chemistry was awesome. But was it as good as WrestleMania 14? No. Once again, though, Paul Bearer interrupts and Undertaker gets the victory. Why did we have to have another interruption in a match to finish it? Bewilders me. But this is WWE we're talking about, and they do stuff like that. So, whatever. I mean, it just, why couldn't they just do that in a couple matches and then let us have clean victories in some? It seemed like throughout the entire night, it was, as far as the tournament is concerned, it was non-clean victory, non-clean victory, non-clean victory, count out, non-clean victory throughout the entire thing. Very annoying to me. Mankind versus Al Snow. This matchup, they were down there with him. Corporation was down there with him. Mankind won with the mandible claw. Whatever. We knew this was going to happen. Did they put on good chemistry? Did they put on a good match? Yes, but we knew this was going to happen, right? So, it's kind of like whatever. The Rock versus Ken Shamrock. This was a good contest. This was a straight barn burner. And once again, this is where good storytelling comes in, but another corporation helping The Rock win. Because the big boss man throws in the nightstick and Ken Shamrock gets waffled right upside the face by The Rock. Playing up like they were trying to throw it to Ken Shamrock, and that's not what happened. I mean, fans eating it up. Fans eating it up. But as a kid, seeing all this, of course, it looks like you're throwing it to Ken Shamrock. As an adult, very hard to fool us. Very hard. Could clearly see it was going straight to The Rock's hand. Could clearly see it. Rock picks up the victory and moves on. Sable defeats Jacqueline for the women's championship. Kind of figured that would happen. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Mankind. One of the biggest, non-clean finishes of the night. One of the biggest. Stone Cold Steve Austin had Mankind beat. Had him, out of his suit and everything. I mean, just Mankind was just beating the pulp. Good matchup. But he was just beaten from pillar to pulp. And then, next thing we know, Mr. McMahon out there, Shane out there, and everybody out there, and double arm DDT, and then next thing we know, mandible claw and all this stuff, and we get a waffle in the head with the steel chair by Gerald Briscoe. 1, 2, 3. Mankind victorious and moves on to the finals. Stone Cold Steve Austin irate and chases them all the way out of the arena. Great storytelling. Bad wrestling. Bad finishing. Bad finishing because this was going on every single match. Every match, it seemed like. Every match had a non-clean finish almost. The Undertaker versus The Rock. This time, Kane cost The Undertaker the match. After they had a good contest, Undertaker cost The Rock the match. Okay, whatever. The Rock moves on. Didn't even need the corporation this time. The Rock goes to the finals. Alright. New Age Outlaws. The Headbangers, Mark Henry, and D'Lo Brown for the Tag Team Championship. Good contest. Really, if you want to know the truth, this match was a filler until the main event. That's what this was. New Age Outlaws victorious. And in the main event, The Rock versus Mankind, who would be the new WWE champion. Very good contest as far as wrestling wise, and honestly is the best double turn to me in wrestling history, because it did wonders for The Rock and it did wonders for Mankind. They redid the Montreal Screwjob. Mankind and The Rock put on a classic matchup, and then the next thing we know, after kicking out of so many finishers and all this that both guys did, The Rock does his little eyebrow, puts Mankind in the sharpshooter, the bell rings, and we have a new WWE champion, the new People's Corporate Champion, The Rock. The People's Champ, you might as well toss that out the window, because the Corporate Champ was on top of the mountain. And by the end of that night, he had a stunner waiting on him, because Stone Cold Steve Austin came down to the ring and stunnered everybody in sight, with the exception of Mr. McMahon, because Mr. McMahon hightailed it out of the arena once Austin showed up. And that was the Survivor Series. So, storytelling wise, it was a good show. Wrestling wise, I really can't say it was that good of a show, because it always had a flop bad finish. It never could have a clean finish. But getting to that double turn and how they got Stone Cold Steve Austin, not the WWE champ, was a good finish. Was good storytelling. You all let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook at 2007 Webby. Tune in for the Survivor Series review this Sunday. I will have Clowney as my special guest. So tune in for that. Should be very entertaining. Last time he was on the Backlash review when I was away for a while. He did an awesome job at that. You can go back and watch that on the channel right now. It is on. So go back and tune into that as well. Tune in to everything you've missed this week. Raw and SmackDown, Raw review, and the preview and prediction video of the Survivor Series. Tune in for all the classic and King of the Ring reviews. And until I see you again, this is Webby, and I will catch you on the other side. Talk to you later.